This is the brand new Kia EV9, the third product from Kia on the massively successful and awarded Electric Global Modular Platform, or EGMP. I am in Korea for the exclusive international media drive to test it. This platform has spawned the EV6 and EV6 GT, the Ioniq 5 and Ioniq 6, and the Genesis GV60. The EV9 is the first of 3 more products coming this year from the group. The Kia EV9 is a large SUV with 3-row seating and plenty more to boast. It truly is a flagship for the Kia brand, and I don't just say that because of its ample size. With the EV9, you get a taking forward of the overall story for where this brand is headed, from a tech point of view and also from a design point of view. Opposites united, the new design language that's been around for about a few years now. Well, this one has a sort of a second layer on that, if you will. They call it bold for nature. That's the kind of pillar this builds on. So you see a few things that you're familiar with, the star map kind of pattern in the DRLs, but it's all very vertical now. It's not spread out across the face. You do have the option of a digital tiger nose, which is where you also get digital lighting that's embedded into the front face. That's optional, and you can have different customized patterns for that as well. Big Kia logo and that new digital tiger nose I was referring to, well, that's kind of the interpretation of that. Again, you saw the first iteration of it on the EV6. Now, the car, like I said, is really ample in terms of its overall shape and size, and it's meant to be. It's a large SUV, more than 5 meters long, and just the wheelbase, more than 3 meters long. So you can imagine how there's a lot of room inside, and they've played around with that room. So you get the option of a 6 or a 7-seater. You have seats in the second row that can swivel around. There's a whole lot that you can do with this car in terms of its customization. And in terms of the color palette that you see, well, it follows that nature theme. So you see things that are inspired by the light, by air, by the earth, and by water. And the color palette reflects exactly that. There are 12 color options for the exterior and 6 combinations for the interior, all inspired by nature. The GT line gets sportier elements, of course. And a specific effort has been made to showcase innovation in every aspect of the EV9. While the obvious is technology, it is also true of the design, space utilization, and performance. The EV9 is large, as you saw, and it is tall and very upright, but it still has an incredible aero figure of 0.28 CD. Overall, you get 541 kilometers of driving range. That is with the 19-inch wheels, and of course that is on the long range. You can try and optimize that through your driving pattern, and there are lots of different charging options, again, as you would expect with the flagship model. But I'm driving the range-topping version, which has the dual motor, therefore all-wheel drive capability. This means the range is just a smidge below 500 kilometers. The first thing I like about the EV9 is the suspension. It's a multi-link front suspension and 5-link multi at the rear. It is pliable yet stiff, firm yet comfortable. And that is also true when you sit in the third row. The EV9 uses the 4th generation of Kia and indeed the Hyundai Motor Group's battery technology. You have different variants on the EV9. You've got the standard model, which comes with the 76.1 kilowatt hour battery. That's familiar from the eGMP family in the past. And that's, of course, the rear-wheel drive version. You have a long-range rear-wheel drive, and you also got the all-wheel drive, the twin motor. They have a bigger battery pack, 99.8 kilowatt hour, and there's obviously differing variants in terms of power output and torque, giving you a fair amount of flexibility and a lot of options. Kia says it's focused on the car offering good range so that buyers can freely take road trips with their families or basically spend more time on the road and less time charging the car. Different drive modes, that's again par for the course when it comes to all-electric vehicles, and so you can adjust the amount of regen that you're getting in. You can manipulate the kind of settings you have in terms of the power consumption, and of course on eco mode you find the car runs at its most frugal and gives you obviously the best kind of range. It's a very obvious difference between the sport mode and the eco mode. You can really push this car hard despite its shape, its size, and its massive amount of bulk. It is pretty quick in sport mode. Now, on that all-wheel drive variant, which sits at the top of the pile, you have 600 Nm of torque. That's a lot, you'd think. But here's an interesting thing. You can go to the Kia Connect store and actually buy a more performance-oriented option. That gives you 700 Nm of torque. And this is something that a customer can do even after they've bought the car if they want that little bit of a boost or an upgrade. The Boost takes combined torque to 700 Nm on the top spec all-wheel drive model. And while the regular dual motor car can go 0 to 100 in 6 seconds, with the Boost it makes it quicker, achieving it in 5.3 seconds. And that's incredible for a car that can weigh between 2.4 to 2.6 tons. This is the most tech-laden Kia yet, and so, besides the interface-related tech that is top-notch, it's also studded with safety kit. It gets 10 airbags and a stiffer chassis that uses a new kind of structure. There's a bunch of ADAS or automated driver assistance systems. The 16 sensors around the car include 2 LiDARs, and that means this also gives you level 3 autonomous driving capability. So intelligent speed limit assist, lane keeping, collision avoidance, highway driving assist, and blind spot collision avoidance are some of the ADAS features. The EV9 also has Kia's Smart Parking Assist 2, which lets the car self-park. Moving on to that interface then. The EV9 has what Kia is calling its new panoramic wide display. This is made up of a 12.3-inch virtual instrument cluster, 5-inch segment display, and the 12.3-inch infotainment. V2L or vehicle to load lets you use the EV9's battery to power appliances, but it also has a V2G or vehicle to grid function that will potentially let owners sell energy back to the grid through the Kia Connect store in some countries. The EV9 is a 6-seater with 7-seater variants likely. The cabin is roomy thanks to the flat floor, and the design offers a surprising amount of legroom in all seats. It also has diffused air vents, smart climate control, and some markets will get inbuilt air purifiers too. Access to the third row. Now that's pretty simple. It happens in all 3-row cars pretty easily these days, but there's a nice little party trick on the EV9 that's got a lot of discussion going, and this is it. Yes, you can swivel the seat around. It makes getting in and out easy if you need to do that, and you can also turn all the way around and have a nice conversation. So when the car is stationary, you can actually turn these seats around, talk to people in the third row, and have a very different atmosphere inside a car. Now that is very different, isn't it? This really gives you a living room or meeting room-like environment. And this would be especially appealing to families with small children or babies. The car's first and second row seats can also go into relaxation mode, so you can rest on a stop during a long drive or while the car is charging. The EV9 has massive 575 liters of boot space, fold down rows 2 and 3, and that expands to a humongous 2,320 liters. Now the question you're asking, of course, will this car come to India? $1 million question, or well, about an $80,000 or $100,000 question. Should it come? Sure, we always want all the new models to arrive into our market. The point though is, if you look at the EV6 experience that Kia has had, that was a direct import, it was niche, it was pricey, and this one's even bigger, even pricier. So does it make sense for Kia to bring it in? As a flagship, maybe even with limited units, yes, it absolutely makes sense, because it also points to what the brand is doing globally, its prowess, both in technology and design terms, and also in terms of the confidence that it offers to buyers in markets like India, where Kia is still a pretty young player.